Hello poets and writers, I'm Kaye Spivey, and for today's video I wanted to respond to a request. This is not the first time I've gotten this request, but I recently got it from Bahar Hoshiar, which if I'm saying that wrong, I'm so sorry. They asked if I would mind editing one of my poems for video. And so the reason I never did this in the past is it's hard to like wrap my head around like the exact process I'm going through and to just like teach it. I'm not good at doing like a teaching style. However, since I've had other requests and because this request was so lovely, and thank you so much for your amazing comments on my videos, I thought I would go ahead and do that. And I'm going to do one of the poems that I read for my raw poetry reading, my super drunk poetry reading that I did, since that was the video that it was requested on. And I'm kind of gonna have to do this a little bit vlog style, and I'll just kind of show you what I do basically to revise a poem. So I'm gonna take one I wrote about a month ago, and I wrote it to be song lyrics in a story. One of the characters plays the piano, and I wanted there to be a part, I haven't written to that part yet, but I wanted there to be a part where they sang a song that would be relevant to the plot line and the like symbolism and all of that. And so I'm not that good at writing songs, so I thought maybe I would work through this with you and kind of edge it towards being a little bit more song-like. It is on 2 pages. I'm gonna put up a screenshot so you can see like what I'm working with is terrible handwriting. So I'll put that up so you can see basically what I'm working with, even though the first half is going to be separate, and then I'll type it up. I'm just going to work through it and kind of show you how my process works, and hopefully it'll be helpful, hopefully be what you're looking for. There's a lot of different ways you can edit, but this is my favorite way. So first up, I always handwrite my poetry the first time. I just do. Occasionally I text it to myself, but I will still transfer it handwritten down first before moving on with it. So the very first thing I would do would be to read through it. And this would be something I would recommend if you're critiquing poetry or you're revising your own poetry. Read through it with no pen in hand, like pen down, no pens, just read the poem as it is the first time you read it through. So I will read it aloud to you. I don't think you see how bright this moonlight has gotten. It lit every corner of my heart for you, dancing in your eyes. It lit up the room, and I could see my whole world with you. Touch me, the moonlight only lasts till the break of night. This moment with you will stay in my heart, locked where I can never forget. Hold me, the moonlight. I don't think you see how it shivers through the room. I'm dancing just to be here with you. Man, that shivers really does not look like an actual word. It looks like I wrote shrug. I'm sure it's shivers though. So really good things going on in that, but not very song-like. Songs tend to have a little bit of a rhyme scheme, which I am terrible with, and which not all songs need. My second thing I do would be go through it with a pen before I transfer over to the laptop. Okay, so one of the first things I'm doing is switching this over to present tense, and also removing the you and the person so that this becomes a little more lonely. I think that is really more of the intention. So I'll show you the very first bit I've done already. Oh, it's so hard. Can you see it? There we go. Down here. I've crossed out quite a bit. I've already changed the beginning to you may never see how bright the moon shines, lighting every corner of my heart, dancing in my eyes. It lights up the room, and I can see my whole world with you. Okay, so I took this concept and I shredded it. I have gone the major revisions route, which I think will make for a more interesting point of contention here. This song has completely changed, and yes, I scratched out the only version, so the only version of this poem that is the old version will remain now in the raw poetry section. So let's move over to the computer and I'll show you that I type it up and what I do next. So not every poem is going to get absolutely shredded to death the way this poem did. I just realized that for the song I wanted it to be, we really needed to go in a different direction. So that's what I'm doing with this one. However, if you don't feel like there need to be any changes before you type it up, that's totally fine too. Like, in a lot of cases I'd have just kept that as it is. But so my next step is simply transferring up onto the computer, and the thing is, I'm gonna probably make a lot of changes as I do that too, just because my writing brain and my typing brain are very, very different. Like my typing brain, my fingers can just like handle things on their own. Like they spell much better than my writing hands do. They can just like, and spell check will check the rest. So my spelling is much better when typed. There's just some like line formatting things that look very different handwritten out, especially when I've scribbled in the margins like this. The heavier revision style, sometimes the lines then look very, very awkward. Once you type it, you can really see how it's going to look, and there are a lot of things that need to change based on that. So I'm just gonna type, and let me see if I can screen capture something that might be a more interesting way to do this. Okay, we're back after the screen capture typing, and you can really see now how something like this, whoop whoop, can become something sleek like this. Now, this is probably not that good yet. I would give this another read through, which I'll do with you now. You may never see how bright the moon shines, lighting every corner of my heart, dancing in my eyes. It lights up the room, and I can see my whole world with you. Light on the wings of tonight, I want to hold you forever, touched by moonlight that only lasts till dawn. Tonight, take my hand in yours, pull me close in your arms. I'll keep you in my heart like a lamp that always burns. Dance with me, touched by moonlight. Can you see me shiver in the darkness? Light up my lonely heart. Dance us to the spotlight. Kiss me before the break of night. I'm dancing just to be with you. Now, the end bit is where I definitely had some trouble. I still feel shaky about like the last 5 lines, and you saw as I was typing it along, I really changed up a few places that were just too awkward from the page onto the computer. And one of the things I don't typically do that I'm doing in this poem is trying to make it more like a song. So trying to really like drive in the tropes of like romance and drive in the more melodic quality to what the words I'm choosing rather than choosing them specifically for meaning. Now that it's typed and like this, something it really needs is something that I always recommend. Like, I chose a poem that was about a month old to use, and usually I'd go for even longer than that. But now it has to breathe. Like, I have to give it some space. I need to walk away from it and then come back later. So we are going to do that next, is let this poem just sit and let myself digest it. And normally I would come back to this like quite a bit later, like when I'm thinking, oh, maybe I might be ready to send this to a journal. I'd come back and sit down with it for a little while. But we're gonna just give me like an hour or two. Maybe we'll just like watch some stuff and then I'll come back and we will finish this up today. Okay, the leaf blower guy finally left, so let's do this. I went and did something else for a little bit. It was definitely watching BTS related content, as expected of me. So next step, or actually I did want to talk to you about something, because I don't know like your personal like experience with revising and editing is. I feel like this is something that they went over in school quite a bit, like teaching you like how to write the little caret in and all of the symbolism for like how to denotate editing. But when you're doing it yourself, like, just go ahead and fuck up the page. Like, honestly, you can keep your journals looking nice if you want to, like if that really like makes your heart sing, but it's not useful. The most useful thing is using your journals in order to make the content work for you. And so I highly recommend this method, which is scratch lines out and write things in the margin kind of crooked. As you can see in this poem, I scratched out most of the lines and rewrote them. If you need to space things out so that you can like write in between, that can be really helpful. I like to just cram everything in and make it absolutely illegible. But don't be afraid of using your margins. Like, that's the important thing. Like, get in there in the margins and just anything. If it needs to be moved, move it. If you need to take scissors to the page, take scissors to the page. Like, whatever you need to do in order to edit in an effective manner. And one of those things is transferring it, because like I changed a lot of things in the transferring. Next, I'm just gonna sit here, go back through it, kind of clean it up a little bit, and then add a title. And at that point I will save it and it's essentially ready for publishing. I'll usually go back again before I actually send it out for any kind of publishing, but this will be my last round that I'm showing you, so you can kind of see like at what point the poem is sort of in a solid form. Now I know I screen captured the last one. I'm not gonna screen capture this one, but I will then put up what the final result is. Ta-da! Okay, I'll put up the final version, remembering that this is a song and that is not necessarily like the best version or the forever finished version or anything like that, but this is the edited version of what I originally read to you earlier. It's a completely different beast. Like, the original poem was a different creation than what I've come up with now, which is okay. You can do a lot of different things with editing. You can do a lot less with editing. Like, for example, if I was to do the poem beneath it, there'd probably be a lot less scratched out. I would be actually adding in more than I'd be taking out of that poem. And it might end up looking very similar to the one that's on the page, as a lot of my other poems do. But I did one with heavy editing for you, and hopefully that is helpful. I'm gonna go ahead and read the final version to you with it up on the screen. Dancing by Moonlight is the title I chose because it sounded like a song title to me. I'll probably end up changing that one as well. Will you ever know how bright the moon shines, lighting every corner of my heart, dancing on the edges of my eyes? It lights up the room and I can see my whole world with you, soft on the wings of tonight. I want to hold you forever, touched by the moonlight that only lasts a day. Tonight, take my hands in yours. Pull me close in your arms. I'll keep you in my heart like a lamp that always burns, a soft white light, my feelings for you. Dance with me. Did you see me shiver in the dark before I was touched by your moonlight? Light up my lonely heart. Dance us to the spotlight. Kiss me before the break of night. Do you see it in my eyes, the way the night shines? I'm dancing just to be with you. There we go. That seemed like a love song to me. That seemed like something sweet. And like, it's going in a book. It could probably stand to be shorter actually rather than longer, but that is basically my process for editing. I think it's really important to let poetry breathe. I feel like it's really important to write it down, get all those feelings out, and then put it away and let the poem settle and your feelings change and you get some distance from it and come back and really work out what the poem needs to be, what it wants to be, but also what your intention is. So in my case, the intention was writing kind of a sappy, more classic style love song that someone would play along accompanied with a piano. And I'm not a songwriter, I can't write music, but this is something that felt like it would work for that scene for me. If you have any further questions down below, let me know. If you'd like to see more of this kind of content, like and subscribe, and let me know in the comment section, because I will try to do requested videos. I know this was definitely requested quite a long time ago, and I really just couldn't figure out like a good way to express how kind of organically revision goes for me. Like this one I was really trying to like have something to show you, but sometimes it's just kind of a feeling and being like, well no, like this isn't the right word, that word is the right word, and just slipping that in like even 6 or 7 revisions down the road. It just like clicks that no, this is the correct way. And some of that is just feeling out the rhythm of what you want the poem to feel like. But yeah, there's a heavy revision for you. That's all for me today. I hope you're having a great day. I will talk to you again very soon. Good luck to you, especially with your poetry revision efforts, and good luck to everyone. Okay, bye.